What is going on, everybody, on a Tuesday night? Welcome in to the BALLCAP Nightcap. We are talking trade rumors. We are talking this LeMahieu mess of a situation for the Yankees. Thank you guys for being here. I always appreciate it. You guys could be doing 100 other things right now, but you're taking some time out of your day to be with me, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys for hopping in there. I see a lot of people in the chat already. We are going to dive in. You guys are going to be a big part of this as always. Anybody that might be new here, big part of this is you guys, is the chat. Kyle, welcome in. Anthony, Rod, Steel Badger, BZ Baseball. We got a lot of familiar names here. So thank you guys for being here. Let's get into this because there may be some people watching this after the fact that just want to see the headlines, the top of the lineup stuff that we're going to get into. And we are going to start with the trade rumors because in the last 24 to 48 hours, we've had some moves, but we've had some trade winds swirling. And I want to get into that. Probably the biggest name, a trade that we thought would have already done by now. It's Tuesday. At least the reporting was it would happen this past weekend, and that was going to be Kris Bryant. There was supposed to be a Kris Bryant deal over the weekend. Didn't happen. We don't know what happened. We just know that he's still a Cub as of right now. And I'm monitoring Twitter while we're doing this because I kind of figure at any point this deal may go down and Kris Bryant could be on his way to Washington or to the Dodgers, the Mets, the Blue Jays. There's a lot of different places he could wind up in. So we've got Kris Bryant. Where's he going to go? What makes the most sense, really, for Kris Bryant? I think the Nats, if they're willing to give up their pieces, we'll talk about the Nats in a minute. They were interested in another third baseman. We'll dive into that in a minute. But this Kris Bryant situation is fascinating. There's some people that are high on him, some people that are low on him. I tend to be a little bit higher just because I think he had a down year. A lot of guys had a down year last year. And I'm just feeling like Kris Bryant, you put Kris Bryant in a Dodgers lineup, in a Mets lineup, even in this Blue Jays lineup, he's going to do some damage because he's going to have a lot of protection behind him. He's going to have guys getting on base in front of him. So I got to think Kris Bryant is going to happen at some point. It's just where's he going to go? Where does it make sense? In the comments section, let me know, where do you think Kris Bryant is going to end up? Is it the Nats? Did they pull off the deal? Toronto has checked in. The Mets have been tagged to him. The Dodgers potentially. Let me know in the chat where you think Kris Bryant is going to go. If I had to go out on a limb, I might think that he ends up with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have a lot of different things they could do. I think they want to make a splash for that bat. If they're not going to bring Turner back, they want to bring Bryant in. I kind of feel like there. We got Steel Badgers thinking Brewers. Maybe the Brewers could use another bat, but these are the teams he's been linked to recently. Next trade rumor that is swirling out there right now. We'll stick with the Cubs, and we'll go with Kris Bryant's teammate, and that's Willson Contreras. There's a few teams that have been linked to him. The Marlins, the Angels, the Cardinals could use a catcher. So the Cardinals, the Angels, and Phillies haven't really been linked to them, but they all have need at catcher. The Marlins have been linked to him today. The word came out that it was potentially the Marlins interested in him. You know, they could use the bat. They could use that that catcher position. I feel like it's more about, if he wants to go somewhere and win. The Angels, his old coach is over there. Will it be the Cardinals? Probably not. You're not going to see an interdivision a trade, but think about it. They need a catcher unless they bring Molina back. Contreras could step in there. It's going to be tough to pull off a trade in the division. The Phillies, if they're not going to bring Real Muto back, maybe they can get Contreras. Let me know in the chat, where do you think Contreras makes sense the most? Angels, Phillies, Marlins, or Cardinals? Cardinals, again, that might be a stretch, but we're looking at teams that have a need at catcher. Let's move on to the next name that's swirling in the trade winds, and we're going to go back to third base, and we're going to talk about Eugenio Suarez. The word is out that the Nats and the Reds were talking about a trade, but the Nats didn't want to do the deal. The Nats, didn't want to have to give up a top prospect, one of their top pitching prospects. And the poll that we have out, you guys agree. You don't want to do it either, and I can understand that. My only argument against it is, what if Cade Cavalli or Jackson Rutledge turn into Will Crow? Okay, what happens then? Both Cavalli and Rutledge are graded out on the 20 to 80 scale as 50 out of 80 prospects. So they're good. They're not great. You know what you're going to get with Eugenio Suarez. So maybe it's a bit much to do Keyboom and one of the top pitching prospects, because we still don't know what Keyboom's going to be. But Nats fans that are in here, what do you think? Do you want, Nats fans, would you like Eugenio Suarez? I mean, that lineup with the addition of Bell, a switch hitter, the lefty bat Schwarber, and a beast at third like Suarez, that lineup is dangerous. That lineup can compete for the National League East right now in 2021. What do you want? So you guys let me know. You guys comment below. So we've got Suarez. The rumors are out there. And the other one, the other big name that sort of popped up in the last day, 2 days, is Andrew Benintendi. We're going to talk about him for a minute. There are a few teams that seem to be in the mix for him. The Marlins recently, but then also the Astros, the Rangers, and the Athletics are out there. And just about an hour or so ago, Mark Feinsand says that rival executives familiar with the Red Sox think they think they'd be shocked if Benintendi wasn't traded before the weekend. Now, we've heard this before. Arenado was supposed to be a Dodger by New Year's. Bryant was supposed to be traded over the weekend. None of that happened. So what happens with Benintendi, we'll see. But it's a situation where these are teams that could use an outfielder. Marlins seem to be kicking the tires on some of these players that are veteran guys that could help bolster the squad. So what do you think? Again, comment in the chat. Which way do you think this goes? A's, Rangers, Astros, or Marlins? I think the Astros would be a nice fit. They need to replace that George Springer production. Now, will Benintendi replace that Springer production? Any Red Sox fans that are here, Benintendi's been driving you crazy these last year and a half, 2 years. He's been a little crazy, not producing. So, the Red Sox want to get him out of town. What kind of package do they get back is anybody's guess at this point. But Benintendi is out there. So a lot of guys that, we got the trade winds swirling with Suarez, Benintendi, Bryant, and Contreras. The other thing we're going to talk about is what's happening, and this is, was the second most voted on topic that you guys wanted to talk about in the poll this morning, and that's this DJ LeMahieu situation that the Yankees have just completely messed up. And, you start to wonder, what does that say about the Yankees? Where are they? What direction are they headed in? You got DJ LeMahieu. These are the clubs that seem to be in the market for DJ LeMahieu, or were in the market, and he has told his representatives to go back to. The Cardinals, the Red Sox are recently added in. We know he's been talking to the Dodgers. The Mets have been out there. The Blue Jays have been out there. So the Yankees sort of had exclusive rights to negotiate with DJ LeMahieu. They didn't want to go 5 years. They didn't want to go up to $125 million. And now because of that, they might be losing DJ LeMahieu, which I've talked to big Yankee fans. I've talked to people in New York, and that's all. This is all they want. All off season, this is all they want. If you roll them out there with the pitching staff that they have, they'll be fine with that. As long as DJ LeMahieu is on the team. And right now, Cashman, whoever's in charge of this situation, is just not doing the right thing. Just go get him. 5 years at $125 million isn't going to bankrupt the Yankees. Okay? It is only going to take him to age 37, so it's not like he's asking to go to age 40 like Justin Turner is for the Dodgers. So go do it. And it may be too late. And if the Yankees don't bring back DJ LeMahieu, they're going to really, really anger that fan base. Yankee fans that are in here, you know what I'm talking about. This would be a disaster if they don't get him, because then their options, the Yankee options, are limited. You can't go get Springer. That's not going to happen. The Francisco Lindor has been traded to your rival in the city. So it just isn't going well for the Yankees. And here's the thing. Okay, the Dodgers and the Mets, they're not in the same division, but they have aspirations of being in the World Series. The Blue Jays want to compete in the division. If he goes to the Red Sox, that'd be a nightmare for the Yankee fans and Yankees. These are all teams that maybe they don't directly compete. Blue Jays and Red Sox do, but they are trying to knock the Yankees out. If it ends up Dodgers and Yankees in the World Series and LeMahieu's on the Dodgers, or the LeMahieu's on the Mets and the Mets are in the World Series, if he's on the Blue Jays and the Blue Jays and Yankees are battling it out the last couple weeks of the season, Cashman just can't let that happen. And they're going down a road where it looks like that could play out. And that would just be disastrous for the Yankee fans. I'm not a Yankee fan, so I kind of love the idea of watching this all play out. But for baseball, it's a fascinating story. It's fascinating to see what is happening. Another fascinating piece of information that dropped about a day or two ago on YouTube was Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer put a video out where he's talking about making his decision on where he's going to go. Now, here's the thing. I couldn't watch the video because I'm not a subscriber. He says at the beginning that his content is for subscribers only. So I'm out. I need help with this because, quite frankly, I can't watch the video. It's not, I don't have any access to it, apparently, because I'm not a subscriber. So I need some help. So today for the BALLCAP Nightcap, we have some help to talk about this Trevor Bauer situation. I want to bring in Tom from Tom Talk Sports. He is going to help dive into this whole situation with Trevor Bauer. He did a nice Trevor Bauer recap on his channel. So if you have not seen any of his work before, make sure you check it out. We're going to bring Tom in right now, and we're going to break down this whole Trevor Bauer video and Trevor Bauer situation. Tom, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. How about you, Jim?
I'm hanging in there. I am trying to figure out what's going to happen with Trevor Bauer because he's leading this on. He's teasing everybody. There's no way he's going to make a decision anytime soon, right? Because the longer this goes, the more attention and clicks he gets on his videos, which are monetized. So he's making money on this stuff. But let's break into this. You watched the video. I watched your recap. He has some main points. He has about 5 or 6 main points. Do you want to recap it for it? What's he really looking for? What are his main points here that he gets to?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I can just go down the list. Like you said, there's about 6, and the first one is a partnership. So he's looking for a team that is willing to work with him. Not only give him, say, like his fair share of money, but he also wants to have an open discussion about, say, pitching every 4th day. I mean, that's usually not typical with starters at the major league level, more like 5 or 6 days they're pitching. So have a discussion around that and just being open to whatever Trevor Bauer kind of says. His analytics very data driven. So he wants to have an open discussion, basically. And then his second point is about being happy. Like, he wants to find a place that he'll fit in with, obviously, with his channel. He's always showcasing other players that are on the team, and that's a huge factor for him. He wants to feel comfortable at a place, and he's talked about in that video about how he wasn't happy at times in his life or in his baseball career as well. So he wants to be happy. And then moving on is growing the game of baseball. I mean, you can tell just from his personal YouTube channel and his business that he created, Watch Momentum or Momentum Baseball, whatever you want to call it. It's a pretty big deal, and he's given platforms to people that otherwise wouldn't have it if it wasn't for him himself. And he's always has a huge presence, on Twitter, as I assume and everyone else probably watching knows. So he's becoming the face of baseball, like online for the younger generation, I think, especially. And then the next one, very big one, winning. Obviously, he wants to go to a place that's going to contend. probably not only this year, but for years to come, and also a team that's willing to make moves to contend every year. And I'll talk about that in a second, about what teams I think would be a great fit for him that are making moves to contend. So that's a big part of it. And he talked about with his time in the Indians, and also when he pitched in the 2016 World Series against the Cubs, that it was probably one of the most special and beautiful seasons that he's ever had, when guys come together, and just amazing group of people coming together and just balling out and making it to the World Series. And he wants to win it all. So I think that's a huge goal for him in his career. You got the next one, getting paid his fair share. So he's not going to be greedy, I think, trying to ask for some ridiculous contract. But he certainly knows his value, and he's not going to get underpaid. I'll tell you that right now. And the last one is just growing his brand. He's going to need money to grow his business, and that's what he said he wants to use a lot of his contract money towards. So that's the gist of the video right there. Those were the main points.
Did you get any kind of feel for if he's leaning towards the Angels, or if he's leaning towards signing a 1-year deal with San Diego? Did you get any feel from it at all, or from any of his recent content? Do you have a feeling?
That's the interesting thing about Trevor, right? He, like you said earlier, is going to try to get the most clicks and views, which equals money. So I think he's going to drag this thing on, and I think it's going to become a point where everyone likes him right now, wants him to come to their team, but as soon as he signs with the team, it's going to be that one team's fan base is going to love him. Then everyone else might not like him that much because of what he does online and what he says at times. So
that's a good point. Exactly. His base that he's talking to is about 10 teams worth right now. Oh yeah. And it's going to shrink down. The access that he's giving his fans is, almost unprecedented, right? We've seen a lot of athletes get out there on Twitter. We've seen them get out on Instagram, but they're not, always doing these video blogs, or they're not as heavily into video blogs. So he's done that, and that can be good and bad. Ultimately, I think it's a good thing, but it's one of those things where, he's gonna. I just feel like he's gonna drag this out for a few more weeks. We had Tyler from Wardy NYM on last week, and he was talking about Bauer's birthday is on January 17th. So he thinks they may drop the team on his birthday. That could be a big move, but then again, the problem is there's another, month. Pitchers and catchers don't have to report until the end of February. The news that's come out, it looks like that's actually going to happen. We don't have to worry about the season getting pushed back. So he really doesn't have to make a decision until, for another 4 or 6 weeks. Do you think this drags out longer, or do you think it's going to get wrapped up in the next couple weeks?
That's interesting, but I've seen some things online that even say he may not even sign a team when the season starts. He may pull at the All-Star break, see who's winning, and then make a case for them wanting Trevor Bauer, and signing a team. That way, he ensures that he's going to a contender. Right. Some teams that I think would be a good fit for him right now, obviously the Mets and White Sox. The Mets just traded for Lindor. They're showing interest in winning now, and there could be more moves to come. And if you add Bauer to that staff, and Syndergaard comes back healthy, and that whole rotation's dealing, they're going to be pretty hard to stop. And adding to that, Steve Cohen, he's praised him about how he's running the Mets and whatnot. He likes what he's doing. And then also with the White Sox, they just signed Liam Hendricks, so they're making moves, and also got Lance Lynn. If I could see Trevor Bauer go into the White Sox, especially with their cap space situation, they still got a lot of room for this year and the next couple of years. Some other popular teams say anytime you make a trade, with whatever estimate it was, $300 million for Tatis. It's going to be tough for Bauer, but also the Angels, are they really one pitcher away, say Trevor Bauer, from winning a World Series? That can also come into question. They might want to be looking at getting a couple arms and getting a better team together instead of just going after one guy and paying him a lot of money. But those are my teams that I think have a chance at Trevor Bauer this offseason.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I keep everything. I feel like he's going to end up with the Angels. I think he's going to end up with the Angels because we're talking about being fairly compensated. He's going to get more. He's going to get more money from the Angels than he would from the Blue Jays. He could probably get a lot of money from the Mets. He's going to, I know he doesn't care about market size.
Yeah, but that's one point I forgot to mention. He doesn't care about market size. He just cares about making that connection with the fans. So,
yep.
Yeah.
But if he wants to grow the game, if he wants to build his brand, LA or New York are two of the best places to do it. Now, we kind of live in a society where, with the internet, you don't have to be in New York or LA. You can connect with people from anywhere. But if he's looking for the biggest opportunity, it's sort of in those markets. But like you said, are the Angels one pitcher away, one player away? Probably not. They need some depth in that rotation, and Bauer gets them certainly a lot closer. But does Bauer get them over the hump to where they're competing for the West? The Athletics are going to be a pain for anybody. The Astros, I think, are starting to go in the opposite direction with Springer leaving, and they're talking about trading Correa. So the Astros are going. So there's room. The Rangers are down. We know that. So there's room for the Angels to jump up there. But then are the Angels a contender for the World Series? Probably not. So then you're like, okay, the contenders for the World Series realistically are the White Sox, the Padres, the Dodgers, and maybe the Yankees with Trevor Bauer. So then it's like, but those teams all have their own issues as to why they might not do that. The Padres, I mean, that's a 1-year deal. I mean, if he's going to do that, that gets back to his 1-year deal thing. I don't think the Dodgers would do it. I don't think the Dodgers would put the player above the team and have him start every 4 days with the rotation that they have. And the Yankees, I mean, the Yankees could do it, honestly. They need an extra piece in that rotation to solidify it. So, maybe it's the Yankees. Your White Sox idea is a good idea. It's going to be fascinating to see kind of how it all goes. I mean,
that's for sure.
He's really stringing everybody. Like, we've got all this access to Trevor Bauer, and we have no access to George Springer. So we kind of have no idea what Springer's thinking. We know everything that Bauer's thinking. I don't know what do you think? What's better or what's worse? Knowing everything or knowing nothing?
Oh, well, it's kind of nice, like, knowing everything, because I feel like Trevor Bauer's a straight shooter. He's not going to sit in front of the camera and lie, especially on his own, personal YouTube channel. That just goes against his whole brand, in the long run, like just lying and cheating and all that sort of stuff. So I think he's going to be a straight shooter, and I think it's one of a kind, like kind of revolutionary almost what he's doing this offseason. You could see guys going forward do this kind of thing, not just in Major League Baseball, but also in like the NFL and other sports. You can see like in the NFL, with the Juju and the Steelers and Chase Claypool all on TikTok, growing their own brand. So I think it's headed in that direction where players are going to start to market like themselves more, put like a voice to the face, on the field, and try to get the most money and most clicks, likes, all of that for them. So we'll see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we will. If you had to make a decision, you had to put a prediction down on where he's going, where would he go? Where do you think? What's the final call? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
I've got Angels down, so that means he's going to sign a 1-year deal with the Padres. So it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah. You commented that on my video, but at the beginning of the offseason, when I made a predictions video for a lot of the top free agents, I said maybe like a 1-year deal with the Dodgers, but I think the Dodgers have other problems that they need to resolve and address. Their starting pitching and their pitching in general is pretty good, so I think they're well off on that. But like I said, I think the White Sox, that's a really intriguing, spot. There's a lot of personalities on that team that would fit into his videos and whatnot as well. So I just don't know how he feels playing for La Russa, but we'll have to see about that. And
yeah, we don't know how anybody's going to feel about playing for La Russa at this point. I mean, that is a social case and just behavioral economics right there. That's going to be fascinating to see that all.
And do they butt heads? If that's something Trevor wants to avoid, he may not go to the White Sox at all. So
right,
We'll have to see. I think it's just a complete wild card, and no one will know until he makes a video about it or comes out with his decision. So
yeah, it's going to be fascinating.
Mhm.
Tom, tell people what you've got, what you're working on about your channel, so they can go and check you out when they're done here.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just kind of similar to like you. I cover obviously like breaking news, big signings, big trades, usually the same day of that it happens if I can. And also I make other like baseball content in general, everything baseball related. Currently, I'm a JUCO college baseball player, so I talk about some of my personal stories as well. So just basically anything baseball related under the sun, I cover. And I think one of my next videos will be talking about Tomoyuki Sugano, one of the best Japanese pitchers that kind of got flew under the radar because of the Lindor trade that happened the same day he was supposed to make his decision. And I was actually going to make a video that day, but I had to call an audible with the Lindor trade and then also the Hendricks signing. So I think that's going to be my next video that I'll make. And people need to know about him because I think one of these days he'll come to the U.S.
I think he will too. I think it was smart for him to go back. He's got a 4-year deal with 3 opt-outs.
Yeah, so he can come whenever he wants. So.
He can do whatever he wants. I think he will try that because next year these teams are going to have a better handle on their finances, and heading into the 2022 season, God willing, we'll have full stadiums and we'll be back to baseball as we remember it, when we can be there at the games, and the owners are going to be a little bit more willing to open up their pockets. That's, the one thing about Bauer that I thought, he talked about those 1-year deals. I thought last week we were talking about it. Why not do a 1-year deal for this offseason? Because right now he's got 6 teams that are realistic for him right now, 6 or 7. Next year, when all of these teams have a better handle on their finances, that would double. Like, he would literally he would have half of the league vying for his services if he entered the market again next year. I don't know. What do you think about that real quick before we wrap?
Yeah. I just think I think it's in his best interest to sign a long-term deal now, coming off a Cy Young season. Like, I think there's only one other time that the Cy Young pitchers hit free agency after winning the Cy Young. Yep. So I think this is a time where he makes that big splash, because in the past, there's people that have been talking about leading up to now how he hasn't been very good over his career, or at least a $35 million a year guy. Yep. So I think it's time to go get that bag and secure the money for his future. I mean, because what if he puts up a 4 ERA? He's not going to get $35 million next year, and I don't think that'd be. He's a wise guy. He knows what he's doing, so I think he'll make the right decision. Yeah,
I think you're right. It's going to probably go that way. He'll get the big money now, and the money will be the same this year or next, probably, for him. It's just it's just fewer teams, but it doesn't matter as long as he's got the big markets vying for him. He can talk the price up. Tom, thank you for joining and for coming in. Anybody that wants to check out more of Tom's stuff, again, go check out his YouTube channel for more baseball reaction and content and everything that we're talking about. He's talking about too, so make sure you check that out. Tom, thank you again for joining.
All right, thanks, Jim. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Thanks. All right, so that was Tom from Tom Talk Sports. Again, make sure you guys check him out. And we're just going to put a bow on that Trevor Bauer conversation. Coming off the Cy Young, that's the way to go, is go get that money now. We've looked at his career, 9 years in baseball, 7 of those he's put up an ERA over 4, and what better timing? What better timing? Elliot, welcome in. Let's just give some shout outs real quick to everybody that's here. Elliot, Kyle, Steel Badger, Victor, Robert, Ernie, Pedro. Thank you guys for coming in, being here. Everybody that's watching and not commenting, thank you for being here too. We are talking about some of the big trade rumors that are swirling. Talked about DJ LeMahieu. We just finished or wrapped up talking with Tom about the whole Trevor Bauer situation and where he might wind up, because it's a fascinating one. How it all goes down. Angels, in my mind, again, feels like the best fit. that doesn't always mean that's what's going to happen, though, right? I mean, are the Angels a Trevor Bauer away from competing in the West? Yeah, I think so. But does he just want to compete in a division, or does he want to win a World Series? Daniel, welcome in. I think he wants to be competing for a World Series. He's in his 30s now, or just getting into his 30s, so he's probably got this contract. Victor, we have no reason to believe Bauer won't be winning 20 games with a competitive team. Very, very true. Who's the number two starting pitcher? Who's the number two starting pitcher the Angels go for? I think they should be at that Corey Kluber session. That's, I think, tomorrow. They should be thinking about James Paxton. There's a lot of guys that I think most teams should be going for, because you can get them on one-year deals. You get them in a situation where they're trying to prove something. So there's, you got Kluber in that arena. You got Archer. You've got Shoemaker. You've got Paxton. A lot of guys that could be going for one-year deals, looking to prove something. So Trevor Bauer certainly will make a team better, and we will kind of see where he lands. His video kind of gave us an insight as to what he's thinking, but it didn't really give us any feel for where he might actually sign. So a good video, a good content piece, but again, we're still kind of wondering, where's he going to actually land? So let's move on to some of the moves that have happened over the last week. And I think the big one, the biggie, is the Mets situation with Francisco Lindor coming over to the Mets for the trade. Rosario, Jimenez, Wolf, and Green going to Cleveland. Lindor and Carrasco going to the Mets. Certainly puts the Mets in position now to compete with the Braves. I think that they're right up there now. The Nats are trying to get their footing into that number 3 spot. The Phillies are just sort of dropping out. The Marlins, they're not there yet. The Marlins will be tougher this year. But the Mets, with the move to bring in Lindor and Carrasco, I think that puts them in position to go for the National League East. Now, there's a good chance that they're not done. They have said they're not done. So you got to think that George Springer could be in the mix. Trevor Bauer could be in the mix. And if that happens, then they're going to be fighting for the top of that National League East all year long. That's going to be a big piece here. I think that Lindor trade is genius for the Mets to go out and do it. They have a better chance of re-signing Lindor long-term than a lot of other teams that were in the mix for him. And again, it takes him off the board for the Yankees. Let's say DJ LeMahieu goes to Toronto, and let's say George Springer goes to Boston. The Yankees are all of a sudden down a big bat, and there won't really be a big bat to go get because this Lindor's off the table. I really felt like Lindor was if you couldn't get LeMahieu back, Lindor. But the Mets get that deal done early. Ernie talking about 10 years, 320. I think that's probably the starting point. I really do. I think he's going to be that you can expect that he's going to be getting some big money, and he should. Francisco Lindor, the situation he's at in his career is ideal to give a deal like that. It's not like Pujols. Pujols was already 30 when he got that deal. Lindor's in a situation where he's sort of in a sweet spot for his career. He's entering, I believe it's his age 27 season. So he's got lots of time left. He is just entering his prime. That's huge. And if you can lock him in long-term, that's just, he's Cleveland fans got to be bummed out. Yeah, he's entering his age 27 season. He's a healthy player. He hasn't played less than 143 games. And in fact, that year he played 143. That's because he missed the start of the year. He missed the first month of the season. That was in 2019. The 3 previous seasons, he was 158, 159, and 158. He played every game last year. He plays every game, folks. He's healthy. He's young. He's a beast. Mets fans, this is a big move. This is big. You know it's big. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So the Mets are going to be competing for that National League East day in and day out. And if they go get Springer or go get Bauer, they're going to be fighting with the Braves. It's going to be it'll be like the National League West with the Dodgers and Padres. If the Mets can go get Springer or Bauer, you're going to have Mets and Braves be exactly what Padres and Dodgers are on the other side of the country. So I'm rooting for it, and I'm rooting for it because I'm in a completely different league. My team, we're in the American League. We don't got to worry about this. Let them beat each other up throughout the year. It'll be great theater for us American League fans to let these National League teams just pound on each other. Also, again, sticking with the National League East, we had a nice move. We had Schwarber signing with the Nats. The Nats starting to put together a team that can compete in a very difficult National League East. Turner, Robles, this lineup now with Schwarber, with Bell, starts to look long, starts to look tough. Turner, Robles, Soto, Bell, Schwarber. After that, we got to see. We know Castro can be a quality hitter. There's a question mark over Keyboom. There's a question mark on Garcia. What's he going to be? A lot of the guys that made their debut in 2020 are going to probably go back to the minors because there was no minor leagues last year. They're talking about Joey Bart going back to the minors. We know Joe Adell is going back to the minors. There are a lot of guys we saw that are going to be going back. Will Garcia go back or will he stay there? That's something to watch because if that's the case, then you're going to go Keyboom and then Castro because you'll put Castro at second base and they maybe do that to start the season. But Garcia is the future. I'd like to see them give him a shot if he can hold his own in spring training. But the Nats, right now, the Nats with these moves have sort of settled into that number 3 spot in the National League East, in my opinion. That means they'll be fighting for the wild card. That means if anything happens with the Mets or the Braves, if there's an injury, they're there to jump up. Sometimes you got to just be in position for the opportunity to present itself, and that's what the Nats are doing here. Now, if the Nats go out, grab another pitcher, and make a trade for Suarez, then they're going to be fighting. This lineup, picture this lineup with Eugenio Suarez in there. All of a sudden, Schwarber drops down to 6. Bell can be – you have more flexibility with Eugenio Suarez. I think that the Nats need to really, seriously, just get out there and make that move. Again, the poll that we put out there, you guys are on keeping the top prospect, maybe keeping Keyboom. It was a relatively close vote. We had about 236 votes. 42% said yes, 58% said no. And the question was, if you're the Nats GM, do you deal one of the top pitching prospects plus Carter Keyboom and let's say a project prospect, so anybody that's ranked outside of the top 30 for Suarez? And again, 58% of you guys said no. If you're in here in the chat right now, let me know. Do you do the deal? That's the question. We're getting a lot of no's. All right. So we are sort of watching. We're going to be watching that, and we'll sort of see. Let's see. Darcy, tell us otherwise. I have serious doubts about Shapiro's big mark executive. Talking about the Jays. We will talk more about the Jays very shortly here. So a lot of, again, sticking with the no. We got some yeses. We have some no's. So again, everybody knows my opinion. I'm okay with trading some prospects. Now, maybe this is a bit heavy with Cavalli and Keyboom. Maybe it's a bit heavy, but I'm also, Suarez is a proven product. We don't know what Keyboom is yet. We don't know what those prospects are yet. So we'll see. Kyle saying Keyboom's a bust. I mean, Kyle Franzen. We have 2 Kyles. So we're gonna have to make sure we distinguish between the 2, Kyle F and Kyle D. So they can compete, but if they added Suarez into that lineup, the Nats would be real players. They'd be real players for the division. So the Nats making some moves, and then the other big move that we saw, the White Sox. The White Sox go out, get their closer. get Liam Hendriks, add him to these new additions. Tony La Russa, Lance Lynn. They brought Adam Eaton back, so I guess he's not a new addition. He's an old new face, a new old face. And Hendricks to the back of that bullpen. Listen, if you're one piece away, Kyle and I were exchanging messages last night about this. If you're one piece away, and really the White Sox at this point, I know a lot of people are hesitant to go out and say they're the top contender in the American League because they haven't done it yet. I get that, but that's everybody, right? Eventually you do it. They were really just a closer away. They have solidified the rotation. Their lineup is dangerous. It's long. They needed the closer. They got the closer. They paid a lot for the closer. He's one of the top paid closers in baseball. But what we've seen from him over the last couple of years with his velocity, with his K rate, with his swinging strike rate, it's all going in the right direction. So I believe that we're going to see Liam Hendriks be the guy he's been for a couple more years. So maybe they overpaid for him. Maybe they didn't. But again, if they're winning a World Series this next October and Liam Hendriks is throwing the final out, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care if they overpaid. Go out there and they go get it done. Ultimately, if my team was in that position and they were one piece away and we had to pay a little bit more for it, I'd do it. So we'll kind of see how that all plays out. But I'm not surprised they did it. Ultimately, I think it was a good move for Hendriks to go to the White Sox. They are knocking on the door. They want to kick the door in to win the World Series. And this is going to kind of put them in position to do that. Again, if you're there, go out and get it. This is the piece. If they go through the year and they have struggles with the bullpen, and then they have to go trade for a closer, and they have to give up some pieces, then you start to feel like they're not doing their job in the front office. I think they did it. I think they did what they needed to do here. So I like the White Sox. I think the White Sox have separated themselves from the Twins. I think they have put themselves in position now. Now there's still a lot of time left. There's still a lot of time left for sure. But when we're talking about the American League, we're talking about the contenders in the American League. Look at this is my thinking right here. The White Sox are doing the right things. They're making the moves. The Rays, Snell is gone. Morton is gone. The Yankees, this LeMahieu situation's a mess. The Twins, Rosario is gone. Cruz, they haven't engaged with Cruz yet. The A's, the way things are going, now there's still time. There's still time. But at this moment right now, in my opinion, the White Sox are the top contender. They're making the moves that these other teams are just not making. There's still time for the Rays, Yankees, Twins, and A's to make their moves, but the White Sox are the team that they've got their foot on the gas, and they're going for it. Ernie with the Yankees got Greg Allen again. Yes, right. They had that we got Greg Allen the same day the Mets talking about Francisco Lindor. So the AL contenders, I feel like the White Sox are just in the driver's seat right now. Now they're going to be pretty much done. Anything they do now is going to be minimal, in my opinion. There might be some extra, building block pieces, some depth pieces. There's not going to be any big splashes. They're going to be tapped out. So you're in a situation now where other teams can catch up to them. But even if the Rays make some moves and the Yankees make some moves, the White Sox are going to be in a very favorable division. An Indian team that's going the other way, a Royals team and a Tigers team, they are not there yet. The Royals made some nice moves this year to just put out a team that's going to, be in some games, but they're not going to compete. The Royals are not going to compete. The White Sox are in the driver's seat. The Twins, it's really what are the Twins going to do? And when you're looking at the Twins situation without Odorizzi, without Cruz right now, they got to get Cruz back. Without Rosario, the Twins just didn't give Rosario a contract. So what's that tell you about the Twins' mindset right now? They just let a good bat go. So in my opinion, that doesn't mean that doesn't give me any confidence that the Twins are going to spend money. And if they don't spend money and they roll out what they've got now, forget about the Twins in the Central. Maybe they get a wild card spot because, again, they get to beat up on the other three teams. But just the Twins, no. So the White Sox are going to be able to, in theory, get through the Central. Now, they kind of got through the Central last year, took their foot off the gas, couldn't put their foot back on the gas, right? So, that's they'll have to be able to turn it back on if they get too far ahead and they're cruising. You don't want to get into that situation. It does happen. It's tough to turn it on sometimes. So that is, the Mets and the Nats really making some moves to give themselves the push that they need. They're chasing the Braves. They're catching up to the Braves. And the White Sox now, in my opinion, again, with the Central, they're moving up. They are going in the right direction. One piece of news that I did want to talk about, I mentioned it a little bit with Tom, is that, guys, the commissioner, now he could always go back on this word, but let's hope he doesn't. I'm excited about it for now. I'm living in the moment now. We're talking about a full season. It was about, a few weeks ago, they were talking about pushing the start of the season back. They were talking about bringing the number of games down to, 120 or 140 or 100. And they're talking about, let's get spring training started on time. Let's get the season started on time. Manfred pushed it out to the league to be prepared to start spring training on time. This is exciting news. I'm excited about it because I don't want to see another mess like last year. I don't want to see these owners and the players, butting heads in the public eye, not starting the season on time. Want to get this season going on time. And I think that is just huge that we got that news. I know Manfred, Manfred doesn't have a very high Q score. He doesn't have a lot of fans, but he is the commissioner. If he's telling the owners to be ready to play ball, to get spring training started on time, that's a step in the right direction. I'm hoping that we actually get that going and we get that going on time. That was exciting news for me. I loved seeing that recently, and that's important. That's just to get that started now. They came out last year before the season even started and gave us the schedule for 2021, sort of a confidence boost, right? There's we are so confident that we are going to start next season, give you a full 162, that we're going to give you the schedule now. And then a few weeks ago, they started to backtrack on that. They start to say, well, you know what? We might have to push the season back a little bit. And now we kind of push forward again, and we hope that we get the full thing. William, fans back in the seats would be awesome. It's going to be dependent upon where you live. I mean, look at what's happening in the NFL and with college football, and wherever you're seeing fans in stadiums with the NFL and with college football is where you'll probably see fans in stadiums in Major League Baseball. So you'll see fans in Texas. You'll see fans in Florida. You'll probably see fans in Missouri. So you'll see fans in some parts. You won't see fans in New York. You won't see fans in California. All of this is going to be fascinating because we do still need to see where this virus is when we get to March, because some of these states are coming down with, no gatherings, no sports, all this other stuff. We're going to hope that, we don't have a situation where every team that plays in the state of California is looking for a place to play baseball, because California will not allow pro sports. Let's just hope that things are a little bit more under control at that point. Do want to promote a couple things. We have about 100 people in here right now. Thank you, everybody who is here. Anybody new to the channel, please take a minute to subscribe. Building a nice baseball community. Would love for you to be a part of it. If you do subscribe, comment in the chat. We don't have it set up to where if you subscribe, your name automatically pops up. So if you subscribe, comment, and I can put your name up there. Give you some recognition for subscribing, because I do appreciate that when you subscribe. So let me know, comment if you have subscribed. Like the video if you're enjoying the baseball conversation, the baseball talk. Want to try to get as many likes as we can. Kind of set a goal at 100. Try to get to 100 likes each time we do this. If we can get close during the live stream, usually get over that 100 number when we get to the replay after the fact, because we get at least usually about 1,000 more views after we get we put this down and the replay goes up, because I leave the live streams up for you guys to check out after the fact too. For anybody who missed anything and you want to go back, like if you missed Tom, you can go back and catch out Tom. One other topic I wanted to talk about. Let's do this. I actually have two topics I want to talk about. This one I have some graphics for, so we're going to pull this up. Let's talk about the Dodgers real quick. We have a bunch of Dodgers fans that keep their eye on the channel, so we'll talk about the Dodgers for a minute. We did a poll, I think it was yesterday. My days are running together, talking about who's going to be the third baseman on opening day for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And this is how the poll has gone so far. We had 509 votes. 16% said LeMahieu. 19% said Kris Bryant. Only 4% went with Suarez. 52% of the voters think that Justin Turner is coming back and is going to man that third base position. 9% think that it might be Rios. But look at the Dodger love for Justin Turner. And maybe it's not all Dodger fans. I know we have a lot of fans from a lot of different teams in here. That's what makes this such a great community to be a part of. We're spreading the love around all the baseball here. This is probably, the only hiccup I have with this is the Dodgers are not giving Justin Turner 4 years. That is the only piece of this that I don't see happening is Justin Turner getting 4 years. That's what he has stated he wants. And I just don't see that happening. If he wants 4 years, it will not be Justin Turner. Now, also keep this in mind. I didn't work this into the poll because it's a little trickier. Try to keep it clean and easy. They don't have to necessarily get a third baseman. They could get an outfielder. They could get Marcell Ozuna. They could get. They could bring Jock back. They could make a play for Brantley. They could bring an outfielder in and move Bellinger back to first and move Muncy over to third. So Max Muncy could, in theory, be the third baseman on opening day for the Dodgers. That's not completely out of the question. If they sign an outfielder and they move Cody Bellinger back to first, they have so much versatility that they can do that. They can make that move happen. So it doesn't even have to be an outfielder. I mean, it could be a first baseman. They can move things around and make it happen, because they had Muncy at first in the playoffs. They could, again, move Muncy to third, and they could sign a first baseman. So they could do a lot of different things with the infield. But again, Justin Turner getting a lot of the share of the votes here for that. Do the Dodgers have money left? They do. I know they spent some money on the bullpen, but with the money that they, not re-signing Turner, with not re-signing Peterson yet, they do still have some money to play with. So that's why they're mentioned alongside LeMahieu, because they do have a little bit of money to work with. So this was our talk. This was our Dodgers poll that we did. Always keep an eye out in the community for some of the polls that we do. Try to have fun with that as well too. And the other, we're going to start to shift gears and really dive into the chat and let you guys control the conversation here. We've gone through the lineup. Anybody that might be checking the stream out that says, hey, I wasn't here for the trade rumors part. I wasn't here for LeMahieu. Can you go back on touch on that? Let me know. We'll go back because we're going to get into sort of the extra innings portion of the program, where we're going to let you guys in the chat kind of run the show here. But one thing I want to talk about, I want to get your opinion on, and that is this Hall of Fame voting situation, because, we've got Dan Shaughnessy sending in a vote ballot with just Jeff Kent on there. You've got some guys not putting anybody, not marking a name for anybody. What do you think about that? As fans, what's your opinion on voters not voting for anybody, just abstaining, if you will, or being ridiculous and just picking Jeff Kent? Because if you're just picking Jeff Kent, you're being ridiculous. William, we'll get into the trade rumors again in just a moment. I promise you that we will do that. We can run through that again in just a moment. That my thing is there are, looking at the Hall of Fame, we'll be doing a collaboration video in the next few days with a few other creators, Hum Baby Baseball and Wardy, NYM, and myself will be doing sort of a roundtable discussion about the Hall of Fame. There are very, very logical candidates that are on this list that are not linked to steroids. Why are they not getting votes? Why is Omar Vizquel not getting votes? Let's move past just the hitting stats. He was one of the best fielding shortstops, and he came close to 3,000 hits. I've been looking this over, and there are a lot of guys behind Omar Vizquel in that hit category. And there's only about 30 players that have 3,000 hits. Okay, I think the number was something like there's only 35 players in the Hall of Fame that have more hits, or 40 that have more hits than Omar Vizquel. And there's something like 175 hitters in the Hall of Fame. So, he hit, and he was, again, one of the best defensive shortstops. He took the Gold Glove shortstop away from Cal Ripken Jr. Cal Ripken Jr. won 2 Gold Gloves because of Omar Vizquel. Omar Vizquel blocked him out of the Gold Glove category. Cal Ripken was a fine fielding shortstop, and he only won 2 Gold Gloves because of Omar Vizquel. So it's kind of crazy. We have some people. We got some Scott Rowland love. We do have some love for some steroids guys, but it's just we'll dive into that again. Stay close to my channel. Watch Hum Baby Baseball channels. Watch Tyler's channel, because all 3 channels will be getting a piece of our Hall of Fame conversation. Burlington, Todd Helton, Hall of Famer? I believe he is. I will actually be arguing on Todd Helton's behalf on the video that we're going to do. I think Todd Helton is a deserved Hall of Famer. I think the numbers he put up in the first 2/3 of his career is very deserving. And the number of guys who have 1,400 runs and 1,400 RBI above him, he's in a category that is Hall of Fame worthy. So yes, Todd Helton is, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer. William saying Kurt should be in also. He was the closest last year, right? Got to 70%. We'll kind of see if he can get in there. So we'll see. Helton, why? I think Helton just put up the numbers that were worthy of it. And now I know you got it right there. The comment is, well, he played in Coors Field. Well, listen, if we're going to knock players for playing in Coors Field, then get the team out of there. All right. If you go to Coors Field and you spend your career in Colorado, but you can't get in the Hall of Fame because you played in that higher elevation, if that's going to be a knock on the players, then get the team out of Colorado. Okay. They're playing within the rules of the game. And the rule of the game is we got a team in Colorado, and that's the situation. If that is going to be a reason why players are not elected to the Hall of Fame, then get the team out of Colorado. I think what Todd Helton did, playing within the confines of the game, he played during the steroid era, and he vehemently denies ever being linked to steroids. He hasn't, by the way. There was one BS bogus claim, and he jumped right out and said, hell no. So I think that you feel good about where his career was, how clean his career was. So I believe Todd Helton should be in there. Let's be real, Todd. Tulo turned into a bum once he got traded to the Blue Jays. Yeah, Tulo, unfortunately, that didn't work out well. Now, he had also gotten to the point where he was having some injury concerns. There was maybe more to that, but that whole situation. Short of it, Todd Helton is a Hall of Famer. Let's see. Okay. I do want to jump back to real quick, because we did have a request for it, to kind of run through the trade rumors one more time. And we are sort of at the top of the hour. We are at the 11 o'clock on the east portion of this. And I do want to touch base real quick. We're going to run through it because we have a lot more people in here now that were in here at the very beginning. So we're going to run through the trade rumors that are swirling one more time for some of our new viewers who missed the top of the program. And we're going to start with Kris Bryant. The word was he was supposed to be traded by this past weekend, and that didn't happen. You've got a bunch of teams that have been mentioned with Kris Bryant. Most recently, the Blue Jays were said to be checking in on Kris Bryant. But what is actually going to happen, where things are headed, is still completely up in the air. We know that the Mets are linked, but they're saying they haven't really had much dialogue recently. And JP Morosi tweeted about it on Monday that the Jays were back involved. So where is this Kris Bryant situation going to play out? A lot of people are hot on Kris Bryant or cold on Kris Bryant. He's a very polarizing individual right now. You either love him or you hate him. I tend to think that he comes into this 2021 season, and if you put him in a Dodgers lineup, a Mets lineup, he's going to feast. If you put him in a Blue Jays lineup with Bo Bichette hitting in front of him and Vladdy Guerrero hitting behind him, I think Kris Bryant has a great season. So get him in a better lineup. Get him in a lineup where you don't have Javi Baez going on these binges where Javi Baez is hitting 125. Get him in a better situation. And I think Kris Bryant will feast. So whoever gets him, whichever way it goes, whether the Nats have kind of been in and out on Kris Bryant. If the Nats get him, it's a big move. If the Mets get him, it's a big move. Wherever he goes, I think there's good stuff. And quite frankly, this is a great time to try to trade for Kris Bryant because of the season he's coming off of. Because of that season, you might not have to give up as much. Maybe instead of having to give up 3 prospects, you give up 2. Go for it. I'm all in on Kris Bryant. I think some things should happen, but the most recent word is that the Jays have checked in on him, and the Mets, though the report out is that they're linked, they're saying they haven't had any dialogue recently. We'll see. The next piece of trade wind that's swirling was Eugenio Suarez and the Washington Nationals. The Nationals out there saying, yeah, we're not going to give up our top prospects for Eugenio Suarez. It's just not going to happen. We've looked at the Nats lineup, and that Nats lineup with Suarez is competing for the National League East. Without it, they're probably third. That's the big difference here. So the Nats are saying, yeah, we're not giving up our top prospects. We're not going to give up Cavalli. We're not going to give up anybody like that. We're holding on to them. Now, you understand that because, I'm on the record. I've said I'm okay with dealing prospects. Now, maybe a top pitching prospects, Carter Kieboom, and then somebody else is too much. But you can understand why the Nats are a little gun shy about trading a pitching prospect, right? Because they just, in recent years, they traded Lucas Giolito away. Look what he's become with the White Sox. They traded Jesus Luzardo away. Look at what he's become for the Oakland Athletics. So you can understand why the Nationals are a little gun shy about trading away their pitching prospects. But Suarez in that lineup, we'll pull the lineup one more time. This is the lineup without him. Again, with him, it would be just fierce. You'd have Turner, Robles, Soto at the top, I think. Then you probably have Suarez at 4, Bell at 5, Schwarber at 6. You have, Garcia or Castro at 7. Kieboom would be gone, and then Gomes at 8. So the lineup with Suarez would be pretty tough. But again, the organization, Rizzo was out there saying we're not going to be parting with any of our top pitching prospects. And again, I don't blame them. Got to be gun shy after how it's worked out. Many times it works out in your favor if you go get the proven talent. You can look back on many trades. It works out better if you go get the proven talent. We're just looking at the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays did not really make out that well in the Halladay deal. They didn't, the Tigers did not make out that well in the Price deal. So, that's that. Next, sort of in the wind, we got Willson Contreras. That has sort of been most recent in the last day or two is Contreras. The Marlins have been the team that seem to be kicking the tires on Willson Contreras. I've also got the Angels, Cardinals, and Phillies up here because those 3 teams are in need of a catcher. Word is Molina goes back to the Cardinals. I know what you're thinking if you're looking at this. the Cubs and the Cardinals, are they going to pull off a trade? Probably not. But I want to put them up here because they are a team that needs a catcher. And who knows? If the Cubs are desperate and the Cardinals are given the best package, will they do it? If the Cardinals think they're getting one over on the Cubs, probably doesn't happen. But you got the Phillies. They haven't re-signed Real Muto yet. Do they look at Contreras as a better deal financially? Do the Angels go and get him? Do the Angels spend more money on hitting? Probably not. So I think the Marlins probably make the most sense. And then the last in the trade wind is Andrew Benintendi. They're talking about the Marlins, the A's, the Astros, the Rangers. The Astros make sense. They got to replace Springer. The Marlins, again, looking for a veteran guy as they're now sort of to set their sights on. We got the young pieces. Let's get some veteran pieces to move this thing and start competing. The A's, they're always looking for guys. I actually don't think the A's make sense because Benintendi's been so bad the last couple of years. The Rangers, so I think he's probably going to end up in Texas because I think that the Rangers are crazy enough to go and do this. The Rangers just make moves that I don't ever understand. So the Rangers, I could see go get Benintendi. The Astros have the need. So the Astros have a need. The Rangers are just trigger happy, and I could see them. I could see them doing it. So if I had to bet, I'd say Benintendi is going to the state of Texas. Just is he going to Houston or is he going with the Rangers? So we'll see how that goes. But that is sort of, again, for anybody who is just hopping in, that is sort of our trade rumor mill, the trade winds that are swirling right now. Those are the guys that are out there. We also talked about LeMahieu. Again, anybody that's just getting in here wants sort of the top stuff. The LeMahieu situation, the Yankees have just bungled. It's incredible to see how the Yankees have let this get to this point to where he's going to his representatives and say, you know what, fire up those conversations again with the Cardinals and the Mets and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Let's dig deeper with the Dodgers. The fact that the Yankees have let it get to this point is disappointing. Any Yankee fans that are in here, comment in the chat. This has to be driving you crazy. I know this. If all you did was bring DJ LeMahieu back, Yankees fans are going to be happy with that. We'll roll with the rotation we got. Sevy will be back soon enough. But we can't lose DJ LeMahieu. And the fact that they're in that position is just mind-boggling to me that they would put themselves in that position. A 5-year deal takes him to his age 37 season, $25 million a year. If that was the only deal they did, was DJ LeMahieu at $25 million, adding $25 million on to what they had, I think their salary would be about $75 million less than what it was projected to be last year. Are the Yankees crying poor? I mean, it's just, you gotta, Yankees fans, try to explain it to me. I don't get it. It's really kind of surprising where the Yankees are at right now. It's surprising, it's disappointing, but as a fan of the Blue Jays, I love it. Just kind of letting the Blue Jays colors fly for a minute. I'm absolutely thrilled. I think that DJ LeMahieu is the best fit for the Blue Jays of all the free agents that are out there because he's an infielder. The Blue Jays have the needed infield. His versatility to play all over the infield. I think that would be a nice move. I know Springer's in the mix, but Springer kind of makes it a crowded outfield situation, and I think DJ LeMahieu is good. If I had to pick one, I would pick LeMahieu at this point. But again, I think that also changes from day to day. But today, I'm more in on LeMahieu. So we have talked about everything that is in the lineup. Again, anybody that is here for the first time, I am seeing some new names. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure that you subscribe. Every Tuesday night, we do the BALLCAP Nightcap. We talk about what's happened that day, what's happened the couple days leading up to it, anything big from the last week. So make sure you subscribe, stay close to the channel because we go live every Tuesday night during the off season. We will be doing some, probably pick that up a little bit once we get into the season. And then whenever anything happens, when anything newsworthy happens, we put together, I either go live or we put together a video package to break it down like we did yesterday for the Hendricks video. And stay close because I'm going to be working with Hum Baby Baseball and Tyler from Wardy, NYM. Go check out his channel if you haven't already. He did a video today with Giraffe Neck Mark. That was a great video for him. So keep an eye on that. He's doing some good stuff. Elliot, yeah, I know. You're new. Everybody's new at this point. I've been doing this for a year. I've only been doing these live streams. This is actually the month anniversary for when we started doing the BALLCAP Nightcap. So everybody that's here is great, and I love it. We're at 106 right now. Everybody that's here, David Cole, everybody that's a newbie, I'll give you a shout out. I don't have this set up to automatically pull it up, so you let me know if you are new or if you're subbing tonight for the first time. Put your name up on the screen. It's a nice community that we're building, and I hope you guys want to be a part of it. And so once we can get back out, go to games, be at stadiums, talk face to face with guys. I got plans, man. Stay close. And again, I appreciate everybody that's here, because you could be doing 100 other things and you're hanging out with me. You could be watching someone else's stream. You could be playing MLB The Show. You could be, you could be doing 100 other things. I appreciate you guys being here. So thank you. We are going to, at this point, sort of shift to the chat. Brian, welcome in, a Rays fan. Brian, tell me how you feel about the team right now. Do you want them to make an addition? You've got Odorizzi and Archer. Is there a reunion that you might like to see? Brian, let me know what you guys think. The Dodgers can't start Lux and Rios from Robert Brown, but could they start one of them? I want to see the Dodgers give Gavin Lux a chance. I think it's time. They have to give him a chance. Big Air, welcome back in. Do you think the Marlins can repeat some of their success from last year? I think they will. I think it'll be harder to do it over a full 162, but I think that they will be very competitive. I like the rotation that the Marlins are building. Sixto Sanchez is one of my favorite players at this point. I love what he brings to that team. I think Jazz Chisholm was nice last year. I think the Marlins have a lot to be excited for, and I think they could. I think they will see some of that. What hat is that from Sean? I've told you guys plenty of times I'm a Blue Jays fan. I'm flying the colors even though it's back. Blue Jays fan. I'm going to throw it back again. I only do that. Here's the trick, guys. Here's a little inside information. If you see me with the Blue Jays hat facing front, it's a Blue Jay video. It is a 100% Blue Jay video. If it's flipped back, we're talking everything. We're talking everything. Kyle, I like the Marlins too. Can't wait to see Kopech and Dylan Cease. I'm with you. That'll be nice to finally see Kopech, give him a full season. Let's see. Who do you think Bauer's going to? Dab 456. I mean, I'm saying Angels, which means he's going to end up a one-year deal with the Padres or the Dodgers but I feel like it's Angels. iTalk Studios, when did you start your channel? I think I started the account in 2017. I was really motivated to do a Fred McGriff Hall of Fame video. That's the very first video. You go back, go to the channel, sort it by video and do earliest. That's the first one. I've left it as I had it. There isn't even a good thumbnail for it. But I believe, I was so passionate about that. Felt like Fred McGriff was a Hall of Famer, so I did a video. It's the first one we ever did. And then about 2 years went by, and then in December of 2019, started doing this for real. Started creating videos, reacting to stuff, projecting stuff. I've left most of my stuff up there, so you can kind of see the journey that we took from day one. So, doing this for real about 13 months with a 3-month hiatus in April, May, and June. We did nothing in April, May, and June. I think I tried a couple MLB The Show videos, projecting a Jay season or simulating a Blue Jay season. That was all we did for about 3 months. We did a couple videos. Let's see. So that's when we started the channel. iTalk. Thank you for the question. Do you think there's going to be a full season? I do. I'm confident. I'm optimistic. I do. Let's see. Atlas, do you think the Jays will land Springer or DJ? I'm hoping they get one of them. I feel like with DJ maybe being a little dismayed by the Yankees, he may have a little bit more motivation to end up with the Blue Jays or the Dodgers. The Blue Jays because he could go up against the Yankees and stick it to the Yankees all year long, or the Dodgers because he maybe faces the Yankees in the World Series and could be a piece the difference between winning it for the Yankees. We got Daniel Wells with some Cubs love. Go Cubs, go. Let me get back to the bottom of the chat. Let's see here. Daniel Price, know about the Fantasy Baseball League. Thank you, Daniel, for that. So anybody that's in here, I did a poll. I think roughly about 50 of you said you voted yes. We are going to start a BALLCAP Sports Fantasy Baseball League. If you would like to get in on that, I need to get in touch with you somehow. I need to have a way to send you a link. I need to be able to talk with you, outside of this. So Twitter is probably the easiest way to do that, because if you follow me and I'll follow you back, we can direct message, and you can let me know you want to play. I can send you the invite. Haven't set it up yet, but that will be coming in, a couple weeks. We'll get that all set up. So you got to find me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. Follow me. I'll follow you back. We'll each get a follower out of it. And then we can DM all the information. So that is the information on it. So if you guys, Elman, thank you. Anybody that wants to hit me that way. If you don't do Twitter, I can understand why. It's a very toxic place right now. But you do Instagram. You can find me on Instagram too. I am at Daily Baseball Cards. You can find me on Instagram, Daily Baseball Cards, if you want to do that. David, right. I see that. Don't have Twitter. If you have Instagram, that way. If you don't, I'm pretty sure my email is up on my email is jwriley81@hotmail.com. That is another way to get in touch with me, is through email. jwriley81@hotmail.com. If you want to try to email me, you can do that. Let's see here. Let me check. Elliot, I see you in here. I see you commenting. Did you get all the information from me last week? I know you were asking me about the camera and everything. I wanted to make sure. I saw you ask a question at the end of the stream. I put it in the chat. I want to make sure you got all the information you needed from that, because I remember you were asking questions about that last week. Do Fry plays. What are the Dodgers doing? The Dodgers are stacking up on the bullpen, and they're getting. I think they're probably working on getting whatever piece they're going to have to that lineup. Because again, it doesn't have to be a third baseman. They don't have to make it Kris Bryant. They can go get an outfielder and then move some pieces around. Big Air just followed on Twitter. Thank you. Again, I will, once I get off here, I'll follow anybody that follows me during the stream. I'll follow you back. And again, let me know if you want to be a part of the Fantasy Baseball League. Let's see. It's on the way. Elliot, right on. Good deal. Let's see. We talk about that. Anybody that's a new sub, again, let me know. You got to comment in the chat. Let me know. I'll throw it up there that you are a new subscriber. And if you are creating content, let me know. I'm happy to give anybody that's creating content, trying to grow a quick shout out. So do that. And if you're creating content, we'll give you a shout out. And listen, I'm bringing content creators on. Last week we had Tyler on. Today we had Tom on. Let's grow together, guys. If you're doing something, Brian, thank you for the sub. If you're doing something, if you're trying to grow, let's grow together. I'm all about it. Let's take a look back at the chat and get into some conversation. Ramen, desperate for pitches, Angels and the G. This is a great off season to go get pitching. I hope the Angels do it, even if they don't get Bauer. There are a lot of quality arms out there. There's a lot of guys that they could get on team-friendly deals that might just be trying to prove something to get a big deal next year. The Angels need to take advantage of that. I think they really need to. Let's see. Baseball Authority. Right on, man. A lot of times I connect with everybody. We talk on Twitter. It's just easy that way. So if you got Twitter, do you follow me on Twitter? That name looks familiar. Maybe it's from recent. I've seen you in here before, but follow me on Twitter. Let's definitely link up. I'm all about it. You guys, I'm sure you like hearing me talk, but it's also nice to get some fresh faces in here every now and then. Sean, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. And yes, we're helping people out. Anybody that's trying to grow, I'm still in grow mode. I'll be in grow mode forever. If I have 100,000 subscribers on this thing one day, I'm still going to be in grow mode. If we get to 1 million, I'm still going to be in grow mode. And I'm going to be looking at help bring people up. This is a great time to kind of come out of nowhere and make an impact, make a mark. Let's do it. And let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's build a community. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to. I'm trying to find out a good way, a good name to call everybody. BALLCAP Nation. Put that out on Twitter. When we come on, I feel like that's tired and played out. But you guys are important, and let's build something. Let's build something. Any word on Kluber and how his health and velocity is? He has the throwing session tomorrow. So Corey Kluber Wednesday is going to be, and if you're checking this out a week later, January 13th, Corey Kluber is having or has had, depending on when you're catching this, his throwing session. And I think we know about half the teams that are there. Let's see. Jays need, baseball domain. Jays need Walker and Paxton. Angels get Bauer. Tanaka. If the Blue Jays do Walker and Paxton and LeMahieu, I would call that a successful offseason. Just need some pitchers. Ohtani. The word out today that the Angels are going to expect Ohtani to contribute hitting and pitching. So, they're going to still run that out there. I'm worried. I feel like he should pick one. Tanaka, 13 to 15 million, 3 to 4 years. I think that's probably about right. Let's see. Baseball Authority just followed on Twitter. Following on Instagram is almost 100K followers. That's awesome. But definitely looking to link up. Let's do it. Let's definitely do it. Let's see. Rod and Elliot, when you get going, when you get up and running, Elliot. Yes, I see you there. Want to be a guest? Let's do it. Yes. Get up and running. Get that camera for sure. Let's see here. When we get into the season, and I'm doing this, 3-4 times. When I'm doing the Robbie Hyde schedule, and I'm on here every night, I'm going to get sick of hearing myself talk. So this community, you guys are going to be front and center as well. Yesenia Lopez, Springer to the Mets. It's in play. They're talking about it. And, we talked a lot last week about the Mets and do they go get Springer at the expense of the rotation? And I've had some more time to think about that. And I feel like the Carrasco, having him involved in the trade, gives them the ability, if they want to say the rotation we have now is what we have, we're going to hope Stroman is, peak Stroman. We're going to hope Syndergaard comes back. He's healthy, because they can always make a trade once the season is along the way, because that lineup, if they're having Lindor and Springer in the rotation with DeGrom and Carrasco, if somebody falters, they can always go make a trade. There'll be names to go out there. So, the Mets, the rotation is fine to start the season. If they go out there and get Springer. My concern was that the Mets were the number 3 team in all of baseball with OPS last year. They hit the ball all over the place. They scored a lot of runs, but the team ERA was 5, even with Jacob deGrom. That was my concern. I felt like they needed the pitching, and I think they probably addressed it with Carrasco. Let's see, Kyle, if any Jays fans think we're getting Bauer, you're insane and need help. Listen, Bauer has such a strong following. I mean, I can see it. I did a video, I don't know, it's probably a month now. I'm okay if the Blue Jays don't get Trevor Bauer. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Now, if they do get Trevor Bauer, he's going to be one of my guys, and let's roll. But if they don't get him, I'm not going to miss any sleep. Yesenia, what do you think about the Mets now? I think the Mets will be fighting with the Braves for that division. As long as nobody gets hurt, I think the Mets will be fighting with the Braves. It'll be great theater all year. As an American League East Toronto Blue Jays fan, I'm okay with the National League West, the Dodgers and the Padres beating up on each other, in the National League East, the Braves and the Mets and maybe the Nats beating up on each other. It's going to be interesting to do an over-under. We are going to do that at some point, and I do want to have a guest or two on for that. But the over-under, when we do the over-under, that's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun when we do that over-under. Bauer overrated. I mean, he's not. Look at his career, right? Like it's a lot of people. It's recent memory. It's recency bias. He just won a Cy Young. But look at his whole career. He could be a little overrated. If anyone's getting him expecting a Cy Young, they're going to be disappointed. That's why I don't think he ends up with the Yankees, because he'll get crushed. Can you imagine the Trevor Bauer from 7 out of his 9 seasons going into Yankee Stadium, putting those numbers up? He will get crushed. The fans will turn on him. It'll be a massacre. He'll get killed. And maybe the same with the Mets. I know the Yankees, the fan base, they can be a little bit harsher than Mets fans can be, but the Mets fans won't stand for it either. We gave you $30 million a year, and you're putting up an ERA of 4.25 and just killing us. Look how quickly the Mets. You wouldn't think that Rios had a good season last year. They don't care that Edwin Rios had a good season last year. So anyway, that's my whole Mets rant. As a Mets fan, I want to see Kluber. I think Kluber would be a nice addition. Kluber would certainly be a nice addition. Give them depth. Give them a number 5 starter that could pitch up to, number 2 or number 3 starter level. I think that would be a nice addition here for them for sure. Just checking out Twitter to see if anything's happening. It was about this time last night that the White Sox news broke about Hendricks. So just keeping my eye to see if anything big is happening. I'm waiting for the day that we're doing this live and we get some big news and we got to, break for a minute. Let me scramble to pull some information together and then come back. It's going to happen one of these days. Victor, welcome back. Yes, we missed you. Have you subscribed yet? That's the question. Yes, we have missed you. My question back is, have you subscribed yet? Yes, love Kluber. Mets are like the Angels and Yankees are like the Dodgers. It's going to be something. Could the Rays get Wainwright on the cheap? Make him our new Charlie Morton? Certainly. I think certainly. Right on, Victor. Welcome. Good. Yeah, I think Wainwright makes sense. I think Wainwright's going to be a 1-year deal, probably $10 million, and not a bad. He'll eat some innings. How good he'll be? That's the question. How good is Adam Wainwright going to be? That's something. I'm going to say Thursday there will be a big signing. Rod, with that prediction, elaborate a little bit, Rod. Why do you say that? Why do you think Thursday something big is going to happen? Tell me. Let's see here. I was wondering if Big Air. I was just wondering if any of you guys know anything about Beat the Streak coming back for 2021 on MLB. Yeah, I don't know. I have played that a few times. It's a fun game. I was always terrible at it. You kind of look at the numbers, you look at the head-to-head matchups, and you're like, oh, look at this. He's hitting 500 in 30 at-bats against this guy. Sure, he's going to get a hit, and it doesn't happen. Drive me crazy. Bauer to Angels watch. I feel like that makes the most sense. Let's see. Giras, welcome back in. If Angels sign Bauer, they have 3 players committed to making 30. It's true, but the Pujols money is coming off the books at the end of the 2021 season. So you eat it for a year, you just kind of swap that money. So that's my thinking. Elliot, predict the Mets and Padres in the NLCS. So you'd have the Padres getting over on the Dodgers, I would think, in that situation. Could. Braves versus Dodgers, you got a very realistic chance. The National League is going to have a great situation with the Braves, the Dodgers, the Mets. There's going to be the Padres. Now the thing is, the National League is going to become very top heavy because the Rockies, the Diamondbacks. No, the Cubs are trading everybody away. The Reds are dealing everybody off. The Marlins could get it will be tough, but could get beat up. It's the National League is sort of getting top heavy. Steel Badger, Wainwright should just finish with the Cards and retire. I kind of agree. I kind of feel like there's a Wainwright injury looming out there. That's just my thinking. Thanks for the comments on Kluber. Anytime, no problem. And I know I'm pretty sure some of the chat is in there too with some comments. That's good. The Central are weak. Yeah, the Central, American League and National League. Central, you've really got one team. We were talking about it earlier. I think the Twins need to do something. But right now in the American League Central, it's the White Sox. And in the National League Central, I think the Cardinals can just sleepwalk their way to that division. I heard Seager in talk with the Mets too for trade. I think the fact that Seager's still with the Mariners, with the direction that the Mariners are going, it's mind-boggling. I got to think that something's happening. Whether he gets traded before the start of the season or during the season, you got to think that those two parties want to part. What's going to happen with Didi? I think I think that Didi is the backup option for the Yankees if they don't bring back DJ LeMahieu. That's a big part of this, and I've started to work on, and in the next week you can expect to see it, a free agent prediction video, and I felt it was time to do a new one because we've had some moves happen now that are impacting the free agent market. And Didi Gregorius, if the Yankees lose out on DJ LeMahieu, I think Didi becomes a serious play. They can move Torres to second. They get that left-handed bat that they're looking for. So I think Didi would be a real target for the Yankees. Will the Indians trade Ramirez? Has a team-friendly contract? Right. They haven't. Ramirez, just they traded Lindor because they weren't going to be able to pay him. There's been no talk about Ramirez. I got to think they probably hold on to him and just try to, bring up the young guys and make a move. The pitching for the Indians will be good in 2021. We'll keep them in some games. And again, we're talking about the Central kind of falling off. The Indians just from being able to play the Royals and the Tigers, and we'll see what the Twins end up doing. The Indians could still be a 500 team. So we'll see what they do. I like the Indians pitching a lot, actually. I like Bieber. I like McKenzie. I like a lot about what the Indians have. Ramirez is going to stay put. Good contract. I agree with that. I think that J. Ram is going to stay there for a little while longer. Maybe it gets to the point where he demands a trade. If the Indians just tank, he might demand a trade. Doesn't mean he'll get it. Cespedes going back to the Mets. Is he? I don't know if that is going to happen. We'll kind of see what ends up going on with Cespedes. I think he's one of those guys. There's going to be a lot of guys this year that are free agents when spring training starts. I think he's going to be one of them. I think there is going to be, and we've seen it the last few seasons where there's been a lot of names that are still free agents when we get to pitchers and catchers reporting, and that number is only going to grow. That number is just going to be, I think we're going to have a hard time wrapping our heads around all of the names that are still going to be available come spring training. And Tom mentioned it earlier, maybe Trevor Bauer. Maybe Trevor Bauer stretches this thing out until spring training. He could. He could. He didn't necessarily have to make a decision until pitchers and catchers report. He could keep getting all these views for his YouTube page, just hanging out there. Other piece of news we did see this week, today, Brad Hand discussing multi-year deals with Cubs. It's a slow news day when the news is Brad Hand discussing multi-year deals with Cubs, with clubs. Of course he is. That's no surprise. Of course he is. Colton Wong to the Yankees if they lose DJ. That's certainly in play. I think they would try to go with Didi first, but we'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Darcy won't trying to get Bryant $300 million, and Jay said no. See, here's the thing about Bryant. If they go get Bryant, anybody that gets Bryant, go and get him and sign him long-term right away. Like, get that, see if you can buy that last year of arbitration and try to lock him in. Now, he may not want to do that, but if you put Bryant in the Dodgers lineup or the Blue Jays lineup or the Mets lineup, he's going to have a really nice year. You're talking about timing being everything. Trevor Bauer is going to get a big deal because he's coming off of Cy Young. Kris Bryant is coming off a terrible season. He goes to the Dodgers or he goes to the Blue Jays or Mets, he's going to have a fantastic season. And he's going to get paid. Bryant declining. We'll see. I know some of his metrics are trending down, but you can't look at last year. There are so many guys. We are handing out mulligans left and right here on the channel for guys who struggled last year. Just as we're not totally buying into guys who were incredible last year because it was only 2 months. Trevor Bauer didn't have any time to go through a slump. Kris Bryant didn't have any time to get out of his slump. Usually these seasons, it was 8 weeks. You can have slumps that go 4 weeks. That was half of last season. So I think I'm handing out mulligans to everybody that had a bad year last year. Jose Iglesias is a great example. Guys that you were insane for 2 months. Great. How would it? People want to discount the Marlins. This is what's interesting. People want to discount the Marlins, right? Say, the Marlins aren't going to do that again over a full season. But they aren't willing to discount Trevor Bauer. But they aren't willing to take that same thought process and spin it around and give it to a guy like Kris Bryant or JD Martinez or other guys that struggled. The Red Sox. Do you think the Red Sox are going to be bad? I don't think they are. So just like the Marlins, we want to say, the Marlins, it was a shortened season. No. They wouldn't do that over a full season. Let's keep that same thinking towards guys like Trevor Bauer. And again, flip it for guys like Kris Bryant. There's going to be some comebacks. If you're playing fantasy baseball, I looked at, or somebody tweeted, I can't remember who it was, that the ADPs were dropping for all the guys who struggled last year. And I looked at that as, boy, I hope that holds on, because I'm going to be winning some trophies in 2021 because there's going to be some bounce backs. There's going to be some bounce backs for sure. Victor, you're right. I think the Marlins are headed in the right direction. I don't think the Marlins are ready to topple the Braves or what the Mets are doing right now, but the Marlins are building the foundation to, in a year, in the 2022 season, they're going to be tough to compete with. They're going to be tough. They'll be tough this year, but they're going to be a problem in 2022, and they're going to be competing for the division in 2023. It's a progression. The Blue Jays are going through that progression right now. The Blue Jays were tough last year. They're going to be a problem this year, and they should be competing for titles next year. The Blue Jays are about a year ahead of the Marlins. I wouldn't want Bryant long-term. I can understand that, and that's fine. I just feel like he's been in a mess of a lineup. I feel like you put him in a good lineup, you put him in a better situation. He's been dinged up. Now that can stay with him his whole career, and he could never reach back to that peak level, or it could be a blip and he can have a nice run if he goes somewhere else. Get Kris Bryant out of there. Get him in a better lineup. Get him with a different medical staff. Just think about the basic foundational stuff. Clear his head. Get him working with some new doctors. Get him working with some new coaches. It could either, and I think it will, improve what he's doing. It could hurt it, but I think good things are ahead. Victor Martinez, JD Martinez is done. Again, we don't know that yet. If he comes into 2021 and he's the same guy he was, then yeah, he's done. I think he's done. I wouldn't want Arenado either. D'Arcy, again, I don't blame you. Arenado's going to be entering the downside of his career. It's looking like he's not. Talk about fantasy baseball. He's not. I don't think he's a first round pick anymore. And the money he's owed top tier money. So we'll see. Cohen's not done. I agree with you there. I think they're going to do some more. Daniel Wells, I just need to rebuild. They'll be back kicking ass. I don't blame you, or I don't disagree with you. I actually think if the Cubs could just hold on to everything they have now, they could be fighting for that division. Just grab a couple pieces. Bring Lester back at a more team-friendly deal. Go get Kluber. There's a lot of quality depth bats that they could get. The Cubs wouldn't have to spend a lot of money. They could be right back into it, competing. It'll be interesting to see how things change in, let's say, a month, 2 months, once we get into spring training and you got a lot of guys out there, depending on how this whole pandemic thing is working out. Like if clubs start to get a more defined view on the revenue, the profit that they can try to make, you could see some teams, if it's looking good, you could see some teams all of a sudden turn it on. We'll see that. Victor, thank you for that. I'm glad you're here. Welcome in, and I hope you hang out for a while. Again, the nightcap during this off season is every Tuesday night. I could try to do this every night, but I would get sick of listening to myself talk, and I think eventually you guys would get sick of listening to me talk too. But I like to think we're building a good community here. And Victor, I'm glad you are a part of it. Darcy, Jays should trade for Matt Chapman. Wouldn't be a bad deal. I mean, I think if they can get a third baseman, that's not too bad of a contract either. If I remember right, it wouldn't be a bad deal. Let's see. I'm training a kid, 13-year-old kid hits 103. The velocity out there right now, the velos out there right now are just insane. It's going to be impossible to hit in like 5 years. It's going to be impossible. Baseball is changing. Baseball is, for those that just think it's an old man's game, it's a slow paced game, you're crazy. Everybody that's in here obviously doesn't think that. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Dodgers lineup still stronger than the Mets. I agree with that. It's going to take a lot to top that Dodgers lineup. Victor, good night. Have a good one, buddy. Let's see here. Remuto didn't want to come to New York. Hope he ends up in a lost franchise. I think he's going to end up in Philly. Let's see. Thor going to come back hard. We'll see. I hope so. I like Thor. I like Syndergaard. We are, anybody that is new in here and hanging out, just a quick reset. We have gone through the lineup. If you missed anything, we talked about some of the trade rumors. We talked about DJ LeMahieu. We went through the Bauer video, him breaking down where he might go. We talked about the Mets and the Nats moves, the White Sox. Yesenia, I don't think they could get anything from Mats right now. That's the problem. I don't think they can get anything from Mats. DeGrom, best pitcher in baseball. DeGrom is definitely one of the best pitchers in baseball. No doubt about it. TJ to LA. We'll see. Do you see the Braves making any other moves? I do. I think they need a bat. I think they got to figure out something to replace Azuna's production. You can't expect Waiters. I think it's Waiters or Waters and Pache to step in there. That's the problem. I think you got to have something, right? They don't have Markakis back. So the corner outfielders are not there right now. So we'll see. The Braves do have to do something. What Nats moves? We were talking about the moves they made earlier, just taking a look at the lineup from after the Bell and Schwarber moves. Lineup starting to look pretty good for the Nats. Good enough to compete. Good enough to be right out there. Probably they are, in my opinion, they are locked into that number 3 spot, and they are one move away, because the difference between 1 and 2, Mets right now after the Lindor deal and what the Braves have done, they're up there. If they make one more move, the Nats will be fighting with those two. So we were looking at the Nats situation there. Yeah, the Nats do look decent. That is pretty good, and it's even better we'll go back to the Nats. It's even better if Garcia works out and Keyboom works out. Let's say they don't do anything. Let's say Keyboom works out. Let's say Garcia works out. All of a sudden, the lineup is very long and very deep. Let's say Castro has a resurgence and they don't need Keyboom. The lineup really could do something right now as it is. But if you gave me a proven, 35 home runs and a guy that's only making about $10 million a year, and that's Suarez, I take it. I'd love that in this situation. Send Keyboom to Cincy. But the Nats are working with something, and they are close to being right up there and making that NL East a three-headed monster. They're going to be good. They are a 500 team. They are a team that will be fighting for the wild card. But if they want to fight for that division, I think they need to make one more moves. I think we had a comment, 2 lefty. So you got Soto and Schwarber. Bell is switch hitter. Garcia, I know, is a lefty. I think it's all right. I don't think it's too lefty. I think it is adequate. I think if they added another lefty, like if they went out and for some reason, went and got Didi Gregorius or Jock Peterson, that wouldn't make sense. But I think they're good right now with what they've got. I really do. Let me get the lineup back up there for anybody again who might be hopping in and may need me to go back. Josh Bell and Schwarber strike out too much. They do strike out a lot, but they put the ball in play. They do some good things. I like what they did. Let's see here. Just to kind of give you guys, again, a rundown of what's coming up on the channel. We are going to be doing a Hall of Fame roundtable with Hum Baby Baseball and Wardy, NYM, Tyler over there. We're going to be doing a Hall of Fame roundtable. Probably shooting that later this week, putting it out next week as the Hall of Fame vote is coming up here. We're going to find out who's going into the Hall of Fame, if anybody's going into the Hall of Fame in a few weeks. Anybody that wants to join the Fantasy Baseball League, if you want to join the Fantasy Baseball League, it's been about half hour since we talked about that. If you want to join the Fantasy Baseball League, Joe Nav, I see you. If you're still here, hang out. We will. If you want to join the Fantasy Baseball League, find me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. Follow me. I will follow you back, and we will DM. That's how I can get the information to you. So we're doing that. There is an upcoming free agent prediction video. Keep an eye out for that. And again, every Tuesday night during the offseason, we're doing the BALLCAP Nightcap. Let's talk about DJ for a minute. We did have a request from Joe Nav. I hope he's still here. We will talk just for a minute about DJ, this whole situation with the Yankees. Yankees fans, if you're in here, be heard. How disappointing is this to you that DJ LeMahieu and the Yankees haven't been able to get the deal done? The Yankees fans that I've talked to, it's all they want. It's all they want is DJ LeMahieu. They'll take the pitching that they've got. Just bring us DJ LeMahieu. He's a fan favorite. He's been in the top 5 in MVP voting. He's your batting champ. It makes all the sense in the world. So now they don't do the thing that they should do. And all of a sudden, LeMahieu's like, let's go. Let's fire up the conversation with the Cardinals and the Red Sox and the Mets and the Blue Jays. Let's do this because I'm frustrated. In the chat, let me know, where's it going? Where do you think DJ LeMahieu ultimately ends up? Everybody that's in the chat, hit a team. Put a team in there. Where's it going? Yankees? Is he going to go back to the Yankees? Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox, Jays, Cardinals? Let me know where you guys think DJ is going to wind up because he's one of the top free agents. It would be a huge disappointment for the Yankees to mess this up. And again, as a Jays fan, I'd love it. Even if he doesn't come to the Blue Jays, the Yankees will be not as good. If he ends up with the Cardinals, great, fantastic. Just not the Red Sox. Let's not let that happen. We got some Jays, we got some Mets, we got some Yankees. Pete's saying the Dodgers. Daniel's saying probably Toronto. So how about Kris Bryant on the Mets? We were talking about it. I think Kris Bryant on the Mets would look very good for the Mets. This is sort of his situation right now with the trade market. The Nats have said, no, we don't want to do it. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if they did, but they've been linked. The Mets have been linked, though they said they haven't talked to him recently. Blue Jays are the most recent team to be linked to him. But the Mets, it makes sense. I think it makes sense for sure. You're trading for him. You get one guaranteed year. That's the thing with Bryant. How much are they going to give up? So we'll kind of see. Is the White Sox the best team in the American League? We talked about that too. I think so. I think today, on January 12th, the White Sox are the top contender in the American League. That can change, certainly. It's January 12th. There's still, 7 weeks, 8 weeks until pitchers and catchers report. Plenty of time for these teams to make some moves. But in my opinion, these are the top contenders. Jays fans, trust me, it's not because I didn't have enough. The Jays need to do something, right? And I don't think the Jays are down. They haven't really lost anybody. The Jays need to do something to get on this list. The Rays are down. The Rays won the East. The Yankees were in the wild card. The Twins were right there for the wild card. They were battling with the White Sox for Central. The A's took the West. These are the AL contenders. The White Sox have stepped ahead of everybody. I think the White Sox are right now the favorites in the American League. Now the Yankees can go out and bring DJ LeMahieu back and sign Corey Kluber, and boom, right there, the Yankees will be up there in this conversation. But right now, today, it's the White Sox, and we'll sort of see where everything goes from here. Do the White Sox hold on to that? I don't think there's many more moves for the White Sox to do. Maybe some depth, maybe a bullpen piece, but you're not going to see any more big moves out of the White Sox, I don't think. Maybe a trade, but again, I think the White Sox are probably going to be right there. I think so for sure. Everybody that's in here, thank you for hanging out. We've got, is that Nebby? Nebby, I apologize if I mispronounced that. Jaras, Jason, Ernie, Steel Badger, Juan, everybody that's here. Elliot, I thank you, everybody that's hanging out. If you are new to the channel, just checking us out for the first time, please subscribe. If you subscribe, let me know. Comment. We'll get your name up on the chat for some recognition. I would, always appreciate everybody that joins the community that we're trying to build. And if you're creating content, let me know. We'll give you a quick plug. I'm trying to grow. If you're trying to grow, we grow together. I say that, I try to put that out there about every 20 minutes or so. Yesenia, thank you for the sub. Yesenia, am I pronouncing that right? Is it Yesenia? How am I pronouncing that? Let me know. Let's see here. When am I back again, Ernie? So it is always Tuesday night. You can book the Tuesday night. That's Tuesday night, 10 in the East, 7 in the West. That is a set time. When something big happens, thank you for the sub, Nebby. When something big happens, you'll see me hop live. When Springer signs, I'll be live. When LeMahieu signs, I'll be live. But you can book the Tuesday from now until spring training. And I'm looking at some key big dates. I might do something live for some big stuff like the Hall of Fame. That actually might be a Tuesday. I got to look at the calendar. When we have something big, probably do some live, do a special live show for the Hall of Fame announcement. Probably when spring training fires up. I think we'll do something. See you Tuesday. Right. Yeah, I know exactly the thought there. So let's see here. It is getting to midnight in the East. Who's got some more questions? We're going to go for a few more minutes. I appreciate everybody that's here. If you are here and you're hanging out and you like the content, don't forget to hit the like so you can give us some support. If you're enjoying what you see, you want other people to see, tell your friends. And also if you hit the like, it helps spread, helps give the video a push with the YouTube algorithm, folks. So more people will check it out. So anybody that's here, thank you. We got some Jays fans in here. Let's see, Elliot, talk about who you think will have the best comeback of the year. You talking about hitters? You're talking about teams? If we're talking about hitters, I mean, anybody that opted out, I think Puig could have depending on where he goes, Puig could have a big season. I think Bryant could have a nice bounce back. What is I hit the wrong one. Is your fantasy league rotisserie points? It will probably be rotisserie. My Twitter is, I can actually put that up there for you guys. I do have that up here. The Twitter is at Jim Riley Live. So anybody that wants to talk with me throughout the week, let's do it at Jim Riley Live. And that's also if you're into the want to join and be part of the fantasy baseball situation, the fantasy baseball league. Follow me on Twitter. I will follow you back, and we'll DM and we'll get everything set up. Wait to really say who's going to be great this year. Haven't made a dent in free agency yet. Right. I mean, as far as team goes, you can't. Right. You can't. Well, this is just based on right now. The slide up here anyway. Let me get that out of the way. I forgot that was up. Let me get that out of the way. We don't need that up anymore. So yeah, as far as team goes, you can base it on this moment. And this moment, it's the White Sox, but that could change between now and the start. How's JD defensive left? I know he's poor at third. I mean, the Mets have a problem in left field. How realistic is Arenado to the Mets? It really depends. There's a domino effect to things, right? The Mets might want to try, since they made a trade for Lindor, the next move they might want to make a free agency splash. So if they're really keen on Springer, or they want to go get LeMahieu, that Arenado situation might have to wait until some of these big names are off the board, because then some teams get desperate, right? Then you can see that if the Mets miss out, if LeMahieu goes back to the Yankees and Springer goes to the Blue Jays, then the Mets might be like, and let's say Bryant's been traded to the Nats. Then the Mets might say, we got to go get that piece. And so let's go do it. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the varnish. Follow or varnish. Arenado is worth what the Rockies are paying him. We're getting to that point. I mean, I know last year was not great for Arenado, but again, we're handing out mulligans. That doesn't mean I would trade for him. That means I would draft him in the right spot of my fantasy baseball draft. That doesn't mean I would go and trade and take on that salary. Who do you think will be the Jays' third baseman come opening day? That's a good question. Let's think about that for a minute. Who do I want versus who do I think? Vladdy. That's the easy way out of that question. Ron, I think it will be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So then the next question is, who will be at first? Kevin Biggio. It's a great question. I think they're in the mix. Who are they going to spend the money on? And at this point, I'm worried about the Jays and the money situation. It doesn't sound like they've offered enough up to Springer. I don't know if they're going to offer enough to LeMahieu. So, it's going to be interesting. Philip, DJ or Springer will be a J. I think I'd like to get one of them. That is for certain. Everybody that's in here, thank you for coming in here. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do. We are making the push. Last week, this has been a great week, and thank you for everybody who has shown the support. Last week, we were trying to close out and get to 4,100 subs. We are over that right now. We are slowly creeping to 4,300. So thank you for everybody that has sort of joined on in the last week. We've seen a nice bump. We've seen about almost 200 in the last week. So thank you guys. And anybody that's here right now, the baseball content is nonstop. If you're a Bills fan, quick PSA to everybody that loves me for the baseball stuff. You're going to have to put up with me for a little bit of Bills stuff, just a little bit. The funny thing about that video is if I had to pick a second favorite team, it is the Ravens. Ravens fans jumped on me on that video. And they're my second favorite team. But, it is what it is. It's all good. It's Bills Mafia. So anyway, you'll have to put up with a little bit of Bills stuff. But for the most part, this is a baseball stronghold. And if you're just checking it out, would love the support. Would love for you to subscribe. And again, stay close because we're always live on Tuesdays. We'll be live a ton during the season. I want to get out during the season to some stadiums. I hope. We'll see what we can do. So I hope for you to be a part of it. Let's see. Jays have to overpay like they did for Ryu. Yeah, and that worked out. Nobody's complaining about that Ryu contract anymore, including me. Because when he signed, I didn't love it. But I'm not complaining anymore. Let's see. Brandon, welcome in. I'm a Blue Jays fan, and it's honestly upsetting. We're always runner. I know. I hear you, man. I hear you. Blue Jays fans. So I'm going to let a cat out of the bag right now. We're at the 2-hour mark. For the Blue Jays fans that are hanging out, we're going to be doing a Blue Jays season preview. I don't know if it's going to be one big episode or if it is going to be something that's spread out over a week, shorter bits. But Blue Jays fans, get your thoughts in order, because in about a month or so, I'm going to start putting this together some more. We're still a ways out. I have been fortunate enough to exchange some messages with Ben Wagner, radio play-by-play, and we're going to be doing a 10 with Ben, and that's going to be some questions for me. That's going to be some questions from you guys. So any Blue Jays fans that are hanging out, I think you definitely want to hang out and be a part of that. We'll get to a point where we send some questions. So Ben, looking forward to a 10 with Ben at some point when we get to the Blue Jays preview portion. So Blue Jays fans, make sure you're around and you sub and you're here for that. And then I also have started to have some conversations. I think it will be fascinating. I've traded some messages with Wilner about him coming on and joining for some part of a Blue Jays season preview. So could be fun, could be interesting. Let's see. Elliot, is that on Twitter? Is that on Twitter? Let me see. Yeah, a lot of you guys have different names on here as you do on Twitter, so it's kind of confusing. So when you find me on Twitter, you might need to tell me your name on here. So certainly I keep an eye out for you, and if your name is different, let me know. So anyway, Blue Jays fans, I hope you're excited. I'm in the works, reaching out to some folks, trying to make a season preview for the Blue Jays, something special. So hang tight for that. So what are we doing here? We're at midnight on the East now. We've been going for 2 hours. Thank you guys, everybody that is here. It's been a good stream so far. I love how these have sort of grown over the course of, I think this is the 4th or 5th one we've done. It's been great to see you guys embracing what we're doing and wanting to be a part of it. And one thing I want to start to do that I haven't done yet, that I know is a thing, is we need to start looking into the world of rating some people. We need to look at some people who are on here. Because we're going to, you guys keep chatting, because I'm going to chat with you. We're going to find somebody for when we're done. Like to rate somebody, give somebody who's talking baseball. Maybe they're playing the show on YouTube, whatever, and you don't really have anybody hanging out. So, go check out their channel, hop over there and see what they're doing. We're not done yet, so you don't have to run off. But while we're talking, I'm going to be checking out on YouTube to look for somebody who's live right now that we can go and raid who's talking baseball. Let's see. Why did the Jays let Alomar go? Dude, that was one of the darkest days in my Blue Jays history. He was my favorite player when I was younger. It was heartbreaking when Alomar left. That team was moving on, right? That team was not a championship team anymore. Those days were done. They weren't going to pay him. They were going back into rebuilding mode. It was terrible. It was a big disappointment when that happened, for sure. Kind of disappointed about all that when that happened. Let's see. Looking to see who we got here. Let's see. I'm going to pull up the screen if I can here. Let me get this going right. Let's see, because when we wrap, we're going to would love for you guys to do a raid of a channel. just, again, to go out there and show some support. Stay for as long as you want, but you can hop in there and tell them that you're doing a ball cap raid. They'll be like, what? What is ball cap? So, yeah, again, everybody, thank you. He's here. We've got Ernie Delgado. We've got Ernie Labar. We've got some Ernies. We've got David Yesenia. We've got Music Lighthouse, the Baseball Hut. Thank you guys. Rod is hanging out. Listen, everybody that's here, I appreciate you being here and, supporting what we're doing, supporting the community. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Love the support. Love for you to be a part of the community. And if you're creating anything, let me know. Steel Badger, take it easy, my man. Have a good night as well. I was going to share my screen, wasn't I? Let's do that. Let me get this open here. Where are we? There it is. We're going to share the screen. Looking for somebody who's live right now. There we are. Again, if you haven't yet, if you're hanging out and you forgot to, hit the like before we get off, before we wind down, just to help out with the channel. Let's see. We got the fantasy sports. Let's refresh this. This has been like 5 minutes since we pulled it up. Looking to see who might be live. Let's go to who are we going to do? Let's check out these guys. All right. Go to Fantasy Sports Degens, Degens. Check them out. Hit them up. Get in there. Let them know that you're here from BALLCAP Sports. Do a little BALLCAP Sports raid over there. Again, it is Degen. Let me get back so you guys can see who it is. Degen, Fantasy Sports Degens. Head on over there. Hop into their chat. Hit them with the raid. Let them know that you are from BALLCAP Sports. Everybody have a fantastic night. Next Tuesday, we will be back doing it again. And if anything big happens between now and then, we will be back to talk about it. And find me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. Everybody have a good night. Go check out these guys. Do the raid. And thank you guys for hanging out. Check out Fantasy Sports Degens. And I will see you guys again. Wicked Gamer, sorry, man. We're at 2:08. I'm starting to lose my voice. When I lose my voice, I know that's the cue. So everybody have a good evening. Check out these guys and have a good one. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.